Hey, my wonderful, divine, feminine Aquarius placements. My apologies, Christina here, Ginger Mama. I know this is getting out late. It is the 13th of November, but hey, we have a lot of time left in the month, so I do not want to leave you behind. I've got a lot going on this month. So we're going to dive into the astrology that has already occurred for the month and what is coming as we wrap up the month, so you get an idea of where you might be, okay? For starters, when I was channeling for you, it was someone like lighting incense or possibly sage. It was just a lot of this like tap in with yourself and like spirituality, maybe clearing energies, of the past, of the present. And so I like that for you. It feels like going kind of inward, but understanding that we're all connected, right? And really finding yourself this month of November. So the month started out with Venus in Scorpio, which was opposite Uranus in Taurus. So that occurred November 5th. And Scorpio energy loves to just dive in there head first. It craves really meaningful and intense, passionate conversations. And that's great, but we also have to be mindful of like, are we doing that in the right energy, right? And you might be feeling that like energy, or you were earlier in the month. And then we keep in mind, by the way, Uranus is still retrograde until January 22nd. So this started on August 23rd, and many of you are experiencing this. Look, I can't make this up. It's like, you're the star, you have something to share with the world. But the Six of Pentacles here, it's like this feeling of, how does money work? Like, what is equal give and take with finances? How much do I surrender to source, which is, everything, right? Like, we stay in flow with source. I'm not saying we surrender money, we go give it to everybody, but you might be feeling called to share money in a different way or earn money in a different way. And this is going to feel frustrating to you through January 22nd. It's asking for you to align. Are you being emotionally truthful? And you might also feel the rebalance of money if you have been doing that work, okay? So ask yourself, like, how do you relate to money? How would a partnership around money look for you? Many times when we're manifesting a partner, we're not like going there with it. We're not like, okay, what would finances look like? Like, a lot of people are just like, they would work and I wouldn't, or whatever. Like, no, like, would both people work? How would that look? What would the schedule be? Would you be working together in any way or collaborating in some way? Yeah, look at this. Collaboration, teamwork, Three of Pentacles there. We have the Seven of Cups. If you are spiritually aligning, right, and your chakras are opening and you have these massive gifts, who do you feel called to collaborate with right now? And this likely is not a romantic partner at this point, but you as you're manifesting that new person can kind of question what that might be. But maybe you're being called to collaborate with other people at this time, just for downloads or information. And so, earlier in the month, maybe you were reflecting on that. We definitely had this huge eclipse energy come in. Mercury moved into Scorpio on the 8th. And so that's a lot of, again, craving that deep, meaningful conversation when we speak and when we talk, really going under with that. Like, I want to know what's beneath the surface. I want to know what's beneath me and others. And the full moon and lunar eclipse was in the sign of Taurus, which is a fellow fixed sign placement, just like you, Aquarius. So that might have really hit you hard. You might have felt a lot of energy around that. I hear a helicopter going off outside. Just remember, you are protected within this energy, even if it feels like a lot, okay? I want to point out too, this cycle is part of a 3-part series. The first one occurred on November 19th, 2020. So you might ask yourself, what was happening in my life then? And then we had this other one on the 8th, last week, right, on November 8th. And the final one will be October 28th of 2023. So we skipped the year of 2021 with this cycle. And so the culmination of that will be October 28th. So whatever you're doing, I'm telling you, or have been doing the last few years, is really going to come to culmination over the course of the next year. Look at my bangs. Like, you might be like, I don't know. Are you sure? Yes, I promise you. Keep going, okay? This energy is trying to make you stronger. It's almost this like warrior energy where you're like in training, where they're like, come on, get up, keep going. Are you going to share the truth? Are you going to share the downloads? Are you going to speak truth, right? Or are you going to hide out and feel weaker and weaker? We don't want that, okay? But it does feel a bit like an earthquake energy. 12:31, as I say that 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1 countdown where they're like, do you want it? How bad do you want it? Because if you really want this authentic, romantic, happily ever after, like genuine soul level connection that you're trying to call in, you've got to do the work. You've got to prove to source that you're here not just for yourself and that connection, but you're here for the collective at large, right? And aiding them in their journeys to attain the same thing, right? So the goal right now is to not wait. It's to take an action. And I know as fixed sign placement, you run the risk of like, I just want to focus on this one thing, and then I want to complete that and move to the next, and you get very fixed. And there's nothing wrong with getting things done and moving to the next, but sometimes we need to move a little bit quicker, right? And so you might be feeling that push right now. Also, a big theme around gratitude this month. Are you showing gratitude? I know we have Thanksgiving at the end of the month, but especially earlier in the month, if there are connections, okay, people, places, things, family, that like you've pulled back from in your healing journey, but you're now like, okay, I'm feeling better in my energy. I think I can handle this. Please go see family or communicate with them, okay? Really let your guard down a little bit. The Queen of Swords reversed, okay? 5 of Pentacles. Many people in your life are feeling really left out in the cold, and that might have needed to occur, but many of them are having their own awareness and awakenings, and you know, they need to know that like you're coming back full circle, okay? Like you're not just abandoning them, okay? We don't want to do that to anyone. I know you feel energetically afraid to do this because you're like, but the energy, they need this. They need this, you need this, okay? This is also, again, making you stronger. You have the courage and the strength to do this, whether this is just phone calls, conversations, maybe seeing a family in person, okay? I know it's like you still have your guard up. You're like, are they lying? I don't know. Whatever. There's no fight to pick here, okay? Hang out with the family. Don't pick a fight. Just be there, okay? You don't have to get into all your spiritual stuff, but the little things that you might say or do might trigger in others their awakenings, just like it happened for you, okay? So pay attention to that. The sun reversed, especially if you're in a dark place. It's like, be a little bit more vulnerable, okay? Let your guard down a little bit. Let people kind of know what you've been going through. You don't have to overdo it, but like, you know, others want to help you. Not everyone is out to hurt you or get you or is bad, okay? Many of you have pulled back from your anxious attachment style to the point where now you're almost avoidant, okay? And like we do not want that to happen as well. And so we want to be supporting those that also we know are supporting us in their own unique ways and not judge how they're doing that, okay? The eclipse energy we have both revealed and concealed a lot. So you might have had new awareness in dream state and astral and or in person of people that you do or do not want in your lives, whether these be romantic partners or otherwise. Pay attention to that energy, okay? This feeling of like revolutionary change is here. And, you know, we had some Uranus in the mix and the Kazemi and all this. So it was just very like, what is happening, you know, energy. And it's all happening for us, okay, in our best interest, not to us. So keep that in mind when you're struggling. But yeah, the 22nd then we hit Sagittarius season. And Sagittarius season, if you've been doing the work, is going to feel, I think better for most people. Pay attention to your astrology placements though. If you have your sun, moon, rising, or your Venus in Sagittarius, that might also be a difficult season for you. I find for most people, or if maybe you have a counterpart with one, that sometimes that can occur. But on the 22nd, it's like that fire energy right before the holidays of like, okay, let's go. And it's more mutable. It's not so fixed. You're going to feel a little bit more like, okay, I can move forward, but I can still hang back. You know what I mean? Like you're not, it's a really good energy for the holiday seasons. The 23rd is the new moon in Sagittarius. And if you did a lot of release work earlier in the month, and if you haven't yet, still do it, okay? Release. Source, I release this connection. I stay in flow. I trust you, okay? We want to embody that release energy, and we normally feel better around the full or the new moon cycles. However, if you haven't done a lot of the release work, you might be feeling more like in this energy where it hits you again like a wave, just like the full moons did. And it gets really hard because now this is occurring like every 2 weeks, and suddenly you're like, okay, I gotta do the thing, right? And I feel that too, everybody. I do. And so keep going, even if you're afraid. That's the point. There's no room for fear here. We need to jump it forward. Okay. Yeah, look at this. Hand of God confirming too. I like this. But also work, right? The Ace of Pentacles is about money. If you have an idea or you've been planning something, anything, okay? The website, the TikTok, the thing, the new endeavor, the new career, do it now, especially if it is aligned spiritually, okay? You need to communicate your truth and you will be rewarded, all right? I feel like some of you have been in this planning energy too much, and this feeling of like, well, I'm a victim, it never works, I've tried this before and others get it but not me. Don't do that. And if you were a victim in the past, it's like share openly what happened, right? Whatever that looks like for you, music, writing, artwork, like interpret that in that way and share it, because other people need to know they're not alone. Other people need to know there is a way out of these cycles, okay? And Divine Feminine, I'm telling you, the Empress reversed and the Page of Pentacles. Like, stop communicating with people who don't communicate with you. Just don't do it. Stop waiting for that apology, because it's making you imbalanced, and many of you question your own worth, your own beauty, your own talents, your own gifts. Don't do that. You know who's been lying to you. You know who's been cheating or shady. You know this, and you know it. And I know it's so hard, me too, because you're like, well, I just was certain, right? And you're fixed. Like my Scorpio moon is fixed. It's like, you're like, I knew it was right. Trust your intuition, okay? Justice here, like justice. Don't let shady people or energies come in. You might also be under a little bit of that, like these energetic attacks. Like sometimes as I'm trying to channel, it happens with my teeth and I have to re-clear my energy. It's darker energy being like, we don't want you speaking the truth. We don't want this happening, okay? Don't let that stop you. They're trying to get you in a place where you're stuttering, you're not confident, you're not powering through. The more I power through and I push it away, even right now, the less this happens. And it's been very frustrating for me because normally I'm a very clear communicator. And the more I level up and the more I communicate the truth of this journey, the more those energies are like, nope, we're not going to let you do it. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to do it. And that's where you need to be, okay? Out of your head. I know it's hard. I know. And you're just like, what's going on? What's going on? I wanted to collaborate. I wanted the cycle to complete. Maybe you're anxious, depressed about it. In astral, maybe you're having confusing, conflicting things come in. I know many of you you're experiencing that, Divine Feminine. Me too. It's weird. It's like people coming to you for things and you're not sure if you should connect them in astral or push them away. Some of them feel like romantic partners and you're just like, I don't know. Should I engage in this or not? And it's that feeling of like, I don't know, like really one step at a time, okay? If the energy feels right and you know it's for you, tap in, but be mindful. Treat this as though you would real life, right? Like how slow would you move or how quick would you move? And be mindful about taking massive risks in astral, okay? Like I know that sounds out there, but those of you dreaming heavily at this point, you know what's up. Those of you not dreaming yet, I highly recommend taking a calcium magnesium supplement before bed, drinking a glass of water before bed. Set the intention. Ask the universe to show you what's up, okay? You have to ask. And also make sure you're not drinking or smoking before bed or taking any substances, okay? And you will begin to see that. A lot of people like to turn to all these other things, and I'm not saying that's not helpful at times on your journey, but in my experience, I find that some of that can cause confusion or fear. People see a little, too out there. So that's for you to use your discernment, okay? But I'm just pointing that out. I feel like that might be something for you, Aquarius, or others around you are doing that, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe I'll join in. And I just be mindful, okay? Because you can tap in without that. You really can, okay? Six of Cups upright. Have hope here, all right? Have hope. There's also like this feeling of children, maybe significant. Maybe you're thinking of children or something like that. Or maybe you're judging, yourself or others with children. I don't know. Judgment reverse. Like there's this feeling of criticism. Maybe someone's judging you. If you're a mother or something like that, or you have children and you're just feeling like you're being criticized at every turn, like, I'm not a good mother, I'm not this, I'm not that. Like, get out of those mindsets and just own it and be like, I know I'm a good mother, I know I'm trying my best, I know I'm doing my thing. I know it's a burden right now. But if you let your mind go there, you're going to be in a tower moment. And instead, you need to be like, I'm climbing this mountain with the burden, and I'm going to rebuild my life. And I'm leaving behind anyone who doesn't get it, okay? That's the energy we want for you, Aquarius. The 29th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius opposite Mars in Gemini. And so this is sextiling Saturn in Aquarius. So it's going to feel like progress, but I do feel like communication right now with that Mars energy, it's going to be hard to know if we can trust it. Is this aggressive? Is this genuine? Or is this like really loving? Do you know what I mean? Like, Gemini energy, when it's healed, can be very tapped in with both the earth plane, right, and the higher realms, that duality. But when it's wounded, it can be very gossipy, it can be very in and out, black and white, hot and cold. And so, or aggressive, but yet nice. And so tap in with where you feel in that communication and others, all right? Let's pull a moon oracle card for you as well before we go. A new start is coming. I love that for you. It's time to release negativity for sure, whether that's spirits, energy, like I said, the sage, the incense. Any of you holding any anger right now, I really encourage you to use maybe some tiger's blood. That's also great if you're in a female body, having any irregular cycles or anything like that. Believe in the impossible. And consciousness is key, but consciousness is key is reversed. I feel like many of you are still doubting this idea of like full flow state with source. I know it's very, very difficult, but I assure you it works. And if you can keep going, because manifestation is thinking, feeling, and taking the action, but you have to take the action within flow state, okay? I love all of you Divine Feminine Aquarius placements. You can find me on TikTok and on Instagram. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, my website is gingermama.com with the 3 A's, and I will see you back in December. I will work to get these posted on a better timeline, but again, I'm in flow, so we just see what happens with the energy. I love all of you. See you next month.